What's up, y'all, and welcome back to 10-Minute Pitch, where I'll be reviewing a show and trying to pitch, or anti-pitch, depending on how good it is, in 10 minutes or less. Afterwards, I'll give the show a score out of 10 based on my grading criteria, and that score will determine if we'll continue to watch the show. If you guys want to request a show for me to review, be sure to leave it in the comments down below. This week, we'll be reviewing Mating Season, released just last month in 2026. Why this was the show that I chose to review somewhat on time, I'll never know. Don't ask questions. I'm your host, Flux Guys, and without further ado, time starts now. The premise of Mating Season I'm sure sounded like a good idea on paper to someone, being that its sister show, Big Mouth, released in 2017, ended just shy of a year apart, surprisingly. Instead of trying to come up with a new show, they basically just recycled a lot of the concepts and definitely character design from Big Mouth. Not to be one-upped though, they did make a pretty significant change to their original format. A lot of critics' main issue with Big Mouth was the sexual nature of the show combined with the fact that all the main characters were children. Good critique of the show, may I add. It made watching the show very uncomfortable. So the writers of Mating Season thought, hey, what if instead of having the main characters be kids, let's make them adults? Adult animals.
No! No! No!
Yet somehow they just moved to the other side of the weirdo spectrum. While it's not directly a problem that they're animals, hell, I watch BoJack and Toucan Birdie and have made several videos praising those shows. Both infinitely better shows to watch in my opinion. The problem is that they decided to make them feral animals. Yeah, they might have homes like humans and try to pee in toilets like humans, and they all got one little accessory like a jean jacket or some baby shoes or this weak ass necklace.
Hey, jewelers.
But they all live in a forest. They're constantly talking about animal parts and holes. The opening of the show literally has live animals cracking in like, why is this show a thing, bro? Even shows that fall under furry bait like BoJack or BNA, Beastars, Agresco have actual plots and depth past the main characters just being animals. Hell, Beastars is probably the closest to Mating Season in terms of the main characters being animals with animalistic traits, but still being human-like for the sake of the story. And yet somehow that show manages to be way less cringeworthy to watch with way better romance drama and animation and more likable characters and way better writing. The characters are so blah that I'm not gonna lie, I found it hard to remember who was who. Sorry, it was a bit distracting considering my mind was still fogged up by the Right. Let's just get this video done so I can walk out in cuffs for watching this show. In order of most annoying to least annoying, there's Ray. He's the raccoon. He's voiced by Nick Kroll and I hate him. Because this show has no original ideas, all the main characters are essentially just rips from the Big Mouth cast. So Ray is basically Jay in terms of freakiness, but with the creepiness and voice of the coach guy, what's his face. Take the hate that people have for like early season Rigby from regular show and amplify the douchery up to about Quagmire level. Every line from his mouth is about sex. There's no nuance or subtlety, and whenever he's on screen and talking, I wish my computer was on fire. Next we have Penelope. She's the fox. Almost couldn't tell that the first time I watched because of how much I don't like the animation. Her main thing is that she's gay? Shoot, happy Pride Month, I guess. There's a little bit more to it than that. She has a whole backstory and all that gets brought up throughout the season, but it feels like they don't really do much with her. She's not annoying or anything, but she definitely feels like a blank slate of a character. When she's not the center of the plot, it seems like the writers don't really know what to do with her. Thirdly, we have Fawn. She's the deer. She's a tolerable character, but she's quite literally just Jessie Glazer. Like, that's Jessie Glazer as an adult deer. Her mannerisms, her personality, her role in the show, she's basically just the straight man to all the nonsense that happens in the forest. I don't mind watching her stories, but again, since she's just the everyman and a carbon copy of a character who they've already done before, her plotlines are pretty easy to predict the ending of. Lastly, there's Josh. He's the bear. The bear is one of the few characters I like, but that's solely because he's voiced by Zach Woods. The bear is pathetic, desperate for love, tall and unassuming, and if any of this sounds familiar, it's because I'm basically just describing Gabe from The Office, another show that Zach Woods was a part of. Say what you want about him, but he plays the dorky weirdo role surprisingly well. I mean, if you close your eyes, you might not be able to tell who's who.
I want you back, please.
This is hard to watch.
You don't want to get on my bad side. I've seen some horrible things. I own over 200 horror movies.
Okay, that's so weird!
The four of them together don't even seem like they'd be friends, honestly. Apparently the raccoon and the bear have been friends since they were cubs, and the fox and the deer have been good friends for a good period of time, but The four of them together have zero chemistry. They're always at this bar just yapping it up with each other, almost like they're trying to steal their central hub from that other adult show that nobody knows about. And yet it feels like they're just saying lines at each other. I find it hard to believe that any of them would be friends with Ray, especially. Like, at least Rigby went to high school and was on the same-ish maturity level as Mordecai. Pretty much everyone writes off Ray as the resident freaky creep who's beneath them. Now, because I'm used to the Big Mouth team's style of animation, I'm pretty desensitized to this show's visuals. I will say they're better at drawing animals than they are at drawing children, which is a crazy sentence, I'm sure. But I feel like that only works to the show's deficit because of the things that they choose to animate and show their audience. I won't exaggerate or hyperbolize when I say this. There's too much in this damn show, like to an alarming degree. It's very telling that these guys made a show about animals and the only interesting concept they can think of is making them like, did you even try? As you progress through the show, you start settling into their style of animals, so it's not as icky as watching it for the first time, but you never get used to the mating part of mating season, as you shouldn't if you're a normal person. The voice acting is cool, the sound design is whatever. It's one of those situations where everything else about the show is so off the walls that honestly I don't even care to concern myself with anything else that's going on. But the voice acting is probably the best part. I mean, they're casting celebrities who are well known and renowned for their voices, so it's not exactly hard to mess that up. I will say that the musical episode was a welcome surprise, but again, just going off of the team's previous shows, I probably should have seen it coming. Sorry if I sound a little dry, but can you blame me with all the going on? You might think I'm being annoying by constantly bringing that up, but that's actually me restraining myself, fighting tooth and nail, Malachite style, trying not to show you the wildness that I had to watch. I know the rule is show, not tell, but I actually respect my audience. And speaking of audience, we finally get down to entertainment/comedy. Dear God, who is this show even for? It can't be for furries because the art style is horrid and the animals are feral. It can't be for the average adult because the humor and characters are annoying and childish. Even the more semi-engaging plotlines get sidetracked by ham-fisted endings or just plain bad writing. Granted, if you were watching Big Mouth religiously and didn't have a problem with child genitalia being shoved in your face and talked about every 5 seconds, you might like this show. But it's still the third time that they've recycled this concept and it wasn't even really interesting the first time. The most relatable part about Big Mouth is the feeling of cringing at your actions as a child, making fun of the senseless and often exaggerated dramas of being back in middle and high school. Take that away and what do you have? A show about relentlessly horny animals who make every story about sex with no sort of actual compelling theme to hold on to. The animal jokes they try to make are so pitiful, it basically just boils down to Family Guy type cutaways where they just blurt out a thing that an animal does that's usually some level of weird or disgusting, and that's it. No sort of witty observation, no unique spin, just nonsense for the sake of nonsense. It's like Nick Kroll went, "Damn, Big Mouth got canceled after 8 seasons and they just canceled Human Resources, only 2 seasons in the production? Oh, whatever should I do? I guess I'll just turn on the TV and see what's on, Oh my goodness, yes!
I'll steal it! No one will ever know!
Gag me. It's like, bro, Big Mouth came out in 2017. I was in middle school. At the very least, I would expect for the writers to evolve over time, write the same show over and over again if you want, but at the very least, mature along with your audience. You clearly wanted Big Mouth fans to be on board with the show. The main characters are animal mirrors of characters they've already done before. They reference the show directly several times. There's several of the same voice actors as well. Why give this show an M rating when it's somehow less mature than the show you guys made about literal children? Every plotline is, main character finds a partner, they talk and it's nice, and then spoiler alert, it doesn't work out. There's very little variation from that plot device, so I fail to see how they're gonna conjure up a second season for this show. Rarely, very rarely, you have moments of genuine intrigue from me. The biggest example being the plot between the wolf and the deer. I won't spoil the ending even though it sucks, but basically the two date in their younger years, they break up because the wolf refuses to grow up, and later on in the show, the deer finds out that the wolf finally did mature, but is now dating another deer who looks just like her, implying that despite trying to help him so that their relationship could work, she's seemingly being punished while he's living the life she wanted with him. That's some interesting drama. However, not only is the ending of that plotline over the top and zany to the point where it removes all the melodrama to the story, I'm only hanging on to that plot thread because all the other ones are so boring and predictable. The bear and the fox start taking a liking to each other in an episode, and at first it starts out kinda cute, like two friends having a good time, but the ending of the story is, oh, he's scared of sex and I'm into girls, we couldn't boink so we're not a match. Like dude, it's honestly embarrassing how this show's main shtick could be narrowed down to just its title. If I told you that the creators of Big Mouth made a show called Mating Season, you would have gained all the insight and inferred all you needed to know just off that statement alone. And hopefully you would have made the decision to say, yeah, that sounds like it sucks. And you'd be right. That's time, so on that aggressive note, let's look at the stats. With a heavily recycled premise and plots more by the numbers than a multiplication table, dry, forgettable characters with a creepily freaky world, eye-strain animation that should be locked behind a cell, decent enough voice acting, and comedy, Mating Season proves to be a big disappointment? Well, I guess if I was already expecting a failure, then it delivered exactly how I expected it to. You guys be the judge. I'll also add up the episode average and give my favorite episode of the season. The first half of the show is so abysmal to me, there's not many choices for favorite here. I was gonna give it to the episode with the wolf and the deer drama, but because that plotline ends up getting resolved so sloppily, I'll give it to the episode where the bear tries to f the horse. Yeah. It was a kinda sweet story with the bear being painfully average and the horse being a champ and the two being positively envious of each other's lives. Plus the catty gaze at the bar going head to head and having a trivia was nice as well, mildly amusing. With our episodes added up, our final score comes to about a 3.5 out of 10, which is honestly not low enough for me. I think that voice acting score is giving this show way more credit than it deserves. I'm saying all that like I'm not the one who gave it that. But none of that matters now because I'll never have to watch or hear about the show ever again. Sweet release. Tell me what you guys thought about the show in the comments down below. Was it good? Was it bad? And why was it bad? But no, seriously, Mating fans, whoa. Seriously, Mating Season fans, don't crucify me for this video. If you guys like the show, then hey, all power to you. You don't gotta listen to me, bro. It's your life. But if you're leaving hate comments on my videos and then I scroll to your channel and you have fart and furry fetish videos in your playlist, maybe just keep your comments to yourself. Huh? But that's my rant out the way. Thank you guys for watching and thank you for 9,000 subscribers. I'll definitely have a special out soon for you guys this summer and way more videos planned on the way. Hopefully not about almost naked animals. See ya.